Who Framed Roger Rabbit was released 34 years ago, and it's still the best live-action animated movie ever made. Something like this should not have worked as well as it did, yet it ended up working 1,000 times better. Film noir meets golden age of animation, meets Hollywood romance, meets Christopher Lloyd, meets, of course, Betty Boop working hard in these tough times. God bless her! The interactions between Roger and Eddie, hell, even the rest of the Toons and humans have so much detail, purpose, personality, and swagger. Like, they are so dang clean for 1988 and still haven't been topped in 2022. They make it look so easy. It's like, hey, I could do that. And you end up with a cereal box mascot and a porn star. This is real. But as the years went by, technology caught up, and although it certainly still wasn't easy to mix the mediums, it was easier. And the first film to really capitalize on this advance in tech was the longest Michael Jordan commercial ever made. But people did buy it. And then bought it again. Really showed how profitable a live-action animated crossover could be, no matter the quality. And with that, over the last 26 years, we've gotten adaptations, and adaptations, and adaptations, and adaptations. They tend to skew. Although some are just too artistically advanced. The first problem I have is when there's no real point for the movie to go live action, and it actually takes away from the identity of the IP. Why would I ever watch this again when this exists? Why would I ever watch this again when this exists? Why would I ever think of this again when I'm too busy working on my roar? Why would I even bother seeing this after those three? It certainly is. Padding the same exact movie with unnecessary shit that tries to do way too much, less than lifeless CGI, and the type of inclusivity that is so dime-assed it can be conveniently cut out for certain territories. The only one gaining in that exchange is you, so why would you stop? The Fairly Odd movies. It's been 11 years and they're still finding creative ways to kill this franchise. Why do we need to see Cosmo and Wanda in live action? Just to see them be selfish assholes in 4 dimensions? Cool? It's just so off and unpleasant to experience in this aesthetic. Just look at Crocker in the show. Barry got parents! Then in the movies. Barry got parents! Excuse me? He says it all. Some things haven't changed.
Jones?
This one's a unique case where the new IP was ruined before it even began because of live action. There are a lot of cool ideas in here that I wish were explored upon more in a theatrical runtime and not just ruined by shit that's unwatchable. I remember watching the TV series way back when, so maybe they did it more there, but like, Jesus Christ, why? Why are the Black Eyed Peas ruining a perfectly fine, cute Disney Channel original movie? Out of place licensed music. The 3-hour war crime itself has an Imagine Dragons song with lyrics playing in the background of an already brutal battle scene. And it happens twice. The first time when literally nothing is going on. In the Chipmunks movies, it's appropriate, but yeah. Now, if it was just Theodore singing, I'm giving it on a spin. He needs to go solo. He's too good for these movies. But the worst is when you ruin already good songs with your own little lyrical spin. Peter Rabbit. Not only does James Corden completely veer off script and just hit you with a classic monologue.
Ridiculous! I'll tell you what's ridiculous, how easy it is to steal this man's vegetables. Ah!
Not only do you ruin Remember the Name, you fuck with my jam.
Garden one big bird feeder.
This is unforgivable. But in the grand scheme of things, most of these aren't totally unforgivable. Even though they may be so heartfelt it's annoying, written by new Pauly Shore Pinocchio, put Smurf into every single goddamn word for no reason, have funny Peter Griffin Bear make 80s pop culture reference, then cut away because haha, laugh, hee. They don't try to kick the animated characters out of the movie. Now, you could do this in one of three ways. One, you could have a bunch of stupid human character storylines that have nothing to do with and or completely overshadow any relationship the animated characters could have with a human one. Two, barely have the boxing kangaroo used to sell the movie in your movie that is somehow PG. Or actively belittling. You talk about corporate. The Looney Tunes are just a file in the modem in the basement of Warner Brothers, only tapped when they need to promote a streaming service. Don't do nothing loony.
Nothing loony.
No, just cosplay characters from every franchise you can get on HBO Max like the good corporate mascot you are. Like, if you're gonna do that, you might as well have had Porky wrap all the shows and movies you could get on there if you really wanted to be the worst.
Can I kick it?
Fife didn't die for this. A sea of movies that, you could do without, shouldn't have been made. Tom and Jerry 2021 should not have been made. They tried it once, and they created the rapping dog from the Titanic animated movie. Some things should not be attempted ever again because you might end up with the pigeons. At least Peter Rabbit had the decency to run over the singing birds and give me a faint flicker of hope that it might be a decent film. Here,
Can I kick it?
we're not even a minute in, and the tone has been set. This movie will do everything you hate about live-action animated movies in the most unacceptable, unwatchable, aggravating ways possible. Shitting all over a classic bop, then chasing to elevator music, being sad until you realize the person singing is the pigeon again. Tom opening for John Legend when Mr. Legend should be honored to share the stage with a headlining, piano playing, opera conducting, opera singing legend that has rocked and shocked the nation like the Emancipation Proclamation. Having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus humans doing and saying shit you don't care about. This line.
Why the fine art?
That makes me double over like Jeremy. The movie copy and pasting classic Tom and Jerry bits that are completely watered down without all of their original charm, sound effects, and music that made them so memorable. Tom screaming. No, a movie that takes place in New York City, locking Tom and Jerry in a hotel, kicking them out, allowing them to come back, but not like this. Don't be yourselves. Proceeding to throw them in jail, holding them hostage to come back into the movie, having them be themselves again, and then the movie saying, no, you two are the last people I want to see right now, and forcing them to end the movie so they can actually do what you came here to see them do. You hit every box and even created new ones. Congratulations. Now, Jerry looking for an apartment in New York City is a fantastic concept for a short. You could have still made this live action animated, cut an hour and 35 out, and just made it about Tom and Jerry going around the city trying to find new homes separately, and then meeting up at a perfect new home at the end, and then boom, you have something to play in the theater before you ruin another set of beloved characters. And Tom and Jerry have worked as short cameos in the past. Gene Kelly dancing with Jerry is one of the best examples of mixing the mediums you will ever see. They also work in Dangerous When Wet. They don't talk nor have as developed personalities, which makes for a very hard challenge to make a good movie out of, and a very high candidate for the worst example of the corporatization of the style.
Does this help?
Yeah, thanks.
I'm not asking for Roger Rabbit. A movie of that scale, detail, and IP crossover like that will never be made again. Though, we have gotten some bangers this century. Looney Tunes back in action. The tunes are the tunes, and the movie is in service to them and a good arc for Daffy. The live-action animated interactions in this are the only ones to rival or do better than Roger Rabbit. It has the painting scene. Space Jam wishes it could age as good as this, yet
All you have to do is munch on a carrot and people love you.
Christopher Robin. The models of Pooh and everyone scared me at first, but by the end I was Paddington. Mrs. Bird just says it.
This family needed that wee bear every bit as much as he needed you.
Until Paddington 2 comes in and says the entire world and the animated character need each other. The family, the neighborhood, the jail, and there's a treasure hunt with Hugh Grant. Again, I love that these exist, but I don't need every adaptation to be this. Something like Scooby-Doo. Scooby and Shaggy's interactions are well done, cartoony as hell and fun. The movie's just so weird, and I love it for that. Puts a different spin on some characters that works in the context of the property. Like, there's a reason Quentin Tarantino was too scared to cast Daphne in Kill Bill, because she would have been collecting fucking heads in real life. Detective Pikachu. Rhyme City has such a cool vibe with all the Pokemon rolling around. Side characters are wonderfully bonkers. The villain's evil plot is video gamey as hell. It gets messy near the end, but the dynamic between Tim and Ryan Reynolds' Pikachu mostly works for me. A more recent example that just came out, Sonic 2. Yeah, it's not great, and Sonic has a basic hero arc, but it's very faithful to the characters. Fun, wacky, Stone is oddly sexual. Could use a little more Sonic music though. Like, you don't have to play Escape from the City 10 times. You can pick your spots. And pretty soon here, we got Chip and Dale. Looks like a Chip and Dale movie about Chip and Dale. There are a bunch of animated styles rolling around. It goes for that Roger Rabbit aesthetic, and look at that, he's in the movie. I mean, take an off glance at this, and you'd think I'd be all over it. But if you're gonna make a Roger Rabbit back in action-esque movie, have Roger Rabbit in said movie and make fun of different animation styles looking uncannily cheap. You can't have your own 2D animation be uncannily cheap and less dynamic than the 3D counterpart right next to him. I mean, with the amount of fucking money you've made from reselling just one of these things, you'd think you'd dig a little deeper on this and get it made right. The way they're just propping up this low-rate ass Roger Rabbit just to tease you, then going ahead and saying, yes, this exists just to promote Indiana Jones fucking 5. You're playing a very dangerous game. It's not out yet. It looks faithful enough with a decent story, but certainly is. At least she still got it though. If there's ever a sequel to Looney Tunes Back in Action, I want it to open with the pigeons rapping Easy Does It, only for Elmer to shoot him dead and have the real movie start with no Vaseline.